Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. Happy Ramnavami to everyone, whether you watch it live or you watch the rebroadcast. Haven't done a stream forever, so it's nice to be back, and it's nice to be back on such an auspicious day on Sri Ramnavami, the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra. I'm very honored to carry that name, and although I'm doing my best to serve as a servant and meditate on his qualities and embody his qualities, it's quite hard. It's very hard, very difficult, because his pastimes are unparalleled, and his qualities and the lessons that he teaches us also. So in order to inspire myself and inspire others, I thought to take a moment of my time today with you together to share about Ramayan. I have the Krishna Dharma edition of the Ramayan, so if you like, we're going to read it together and explore the meaning. Lord Ram, he is the incarnation of Lord Krishna, and as any other any avatar, he comes to show us teach us a particular lesson about our human experience. He comes as God to share how is it like to be a human here, how miserable it is, and at the same time he gives us hope. He gives us hope by exemplifying his unparalleled qualities as God, and takes us with him, either by our attention or by his special mercy. Thank you everyone who just joined us. And yes, there's a lot of beautiful, inspiring teachings there. I just 2 days ago, actually, I finished reading the Ramayan for the first time, and especially the last part and the beginning, but especially the last part, how Lord Ram ended up vanished Sita, although she proved to be completely chaste due to different rumors in the kingdom. He decided not to keep her company, and I experienced a big pain, a heavy pain of grief from that. Grief from my own relationships, from my own broken relationships here in the material world, which are uncomparable to Lord Ram's relationship with Sita, but still experiencing that grief after I went through that heavy emotion, it made me realize that this is perhaps why God comes to show us these pastimes. This is perhaps why he comes and he manifests pastimes of a king and this romance in the forest with the queen, or of Lord Krishna, or of Narasimhadev, or to trigger something in our heart, trigger something that relates to our own human experience, and give us this safe outlet to burst with any emotion that comes for us. Either that's anger, right? Hanuman, he angry, big monkey, super monkey that comes and destroys Lanka, or either as Krishna, who destroys the demon, or Narasimhadev. There's so many different plots that give us a container to experience our emotions, experience our experience in a sacred way, in a devotional way, which will ultimately purify them. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, I remember how he says that if we cry for Krishna, if we cry for Lord Ram, if we cry for any of these beautiful appearances and stories, because they're not actually stories, because they are present in our heart, in the spiritual world, connecting to these stories creates this river of purification that if we just allow ourselves to dive into, if we just allow ourselves to taste these leelas, taste these pastimes in a different perspective, not a perspective that, oh, maybe that happened, maybe not, but in a perspective of how do I relate? How can I relate to what Lord Ram is happening? Without minimizing Lord Ram's position. Lord Ram, Lord Ramachandra and Sita, they are the Vishnu and Shakti Tattva. It's God in his purest form. But relate in the sense of just giving our heart, giving our heart to whatever is happening in that plot. And whatever emotions come up, give them a voice, or give them the connection is trembling. Yesterday we did a live stream, it worked pretty well. Let me know how's the connection. Karot, I'm now in Mexico. So, there's so many things that philosophically we can understand about, the Vedic literatures and the culture, but sometimes these philosophical arguments and plots, they block us. They block us from connecting our heart, from giving our heart and experiencing our emotion, what is happening to us when we hear about that. And I'm going to read the first chapter, or perhaps a portion. I'm going to read the first note that I took. And this is the note of grief and fury. It's when Lord Ram was asked from his father to leave, and no one wanted him to leave. And there is a specific emotion, specific flavor in this chapter. And I believe that if we just let our heart speak through that narration, whatever is happening to our heart can purify us, can liberate us. And I feel this is one of the purposes of Krishna's coming here, either in the form of Ram or Narasimha or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to give us a safe container, a safe space to really experience our human experience without any judgments, without any self-defeating beliefs or humiliation or guilt, but just the way it is. And gradually heal by hearing about these narrations. Kaushalya realized her son was unshakable in determination to obey his father's order. Tears streamed down her face. Who could believe this was happening? Rama, the dearest son of the emperor, was being exiled to the dangerous jungle. How could that pious-minded, gentle boy live in such a fearful place? Destiny was surely supreme in a world where one like Ram must retire to the forest. Kaushalya trembled with grief. She held her son's head. It is well known how a cow will follow her rowing calf. In the same way, I shall follow you wherever you may go. For separation from you, my dear son will kill me. So we can hear how deep of a pain this grief carries of Ram's mother. Her oldest son, the son who is supposed to inherit the kingdom, is about to go to the forest and leave her. It must be so painful. And I want you also to connect to that place in your heart where you experience grief, where you experience pain, and let this episode clear your heart. And let it be however it's supposed to be. Maybe you're gonna cry, maybe you're gonna get angry on Ram leaving. Like yesterday I was in a Sangha and yeah, people were angry on Ram. Why Ram left? Why Ram left? Or why did he vanish Sita? So many questions. And there's no need to go in the right or wrong now. But just be with your experience and experience your feelings, whatever is in the bottom of your heart. Oh, God is here, the God. Nice to have you with us, God. Rama addressed his mother with love. Betrayed by KK and seeing me leave for the forest, my father will surely not survive if he is also abandoned by you. O godly king, queen, it is sheer cruelty for a woman to desert her worthy husband. That should never be contemplated, for it is always condemned. So long the king lives, you should render him service, for this is the eternal moral code. For a married woman, the husband is her deity and her lord. Ram knew his mother was fully aware of her religious duty, which she would never abandon. He spoke only to give her strength and reassurance. The queen listened in silence as Rama, invoking the ancient religious codes, described the faith of a woman who does not serve her worthy husband. Even if she is devoted to fast and sacred observances, she will become tainted by sin and suffer the reaction. On the other hand, a woman who devotedly serves her husband, even without any other religious practices, will reach the highest heaven. Ram folded his palms and said, "Therefore, O queen, remain devoted to the king and ensure that he does not suffer exclusive grief, leading a holy life. By the time I return, when you finally see me duly installed as king and dedicated to your service, you shall achieve all that you desire." Although dismayed at that prospect of losing her son for 14 years, the pious Kaushalya nevertheless felt delighted to hear his domination. It was clear she could not change his carefully considered resolution to depart. Blinded by her tears, she said, "Go then with my blessings, O heroic son. May God betide you always. My misery will end only when you again return from the forest and offer me words of consolation. If only that time were already arrived. Live now with a steady mind, dear Ram, following in the footsteps of the righteous. Repay your debt to your father." Kaushalya is ready. She's ready to let her son go. Like there is a saying, if you love, you let go. And how painful is that? How painful is that to be righteous even sometimes in this world? And let me know what you think down in the comments. But in one sense, I feel this is one of the conclusions, one of the messages of Ramayan, that being a righteous man in the world, it's very painful, it's grief-striking. You'll be forced to do so many things which might even cause harm to others or pain to others and to yourself. And nonetheless, this is the duty of the man. This is the duty of the righteous, sacred, devoted man to God, to do what is right, to do what is right for himself, for the community, for God, for the society. And this is the strength and the power of a soul in the masculine man body. And Ram, he exemplifies that yes, following righteousness is not that easy, but yet one who does follow righteousness, he relinquishes so much strength within himself, within his community, within his family, and ultimately in his connection to God. And as Lord Krishna, he says, matras partas to konteya, tolerate. So why do we tolerate ultimately? And Lord Ram here exemplifies that. Tolerate to create a more righteous tomorrow. tolerate to create a more righteous tomorrow for yourself, for others, and not disregarding the pain. This is not the plea, I think, of the story. You just ignore the pain of your mother, of Sita, of all the people of the world. Hey Vikram, nice to have you. I'm going to answer a question right after. But not escape these feelings, but rather hold these feelings. Hold a container for the emotions of all the people in all your life and lives, all your relatives, all your friends, or your subjects, to let them experience their experience, let them experience the grief, the pain, the hurt, in a sheltering way. And what is that sheltering way? That is your righteousness. Your ability to create righteousness, to choose righteousness, is that solid container for them to be with their experience, be with their grief, and yet not let that grief create disturbance in their life or havoc in their life, right? Like why people they, when they feel grief sometimes or pain, they go and they, hurt someone or disturb someone, or like the Middle East, right? So many times a family will experience grief because their son was murdered on the border, in Palestine, between Palestine and Israel. So why one of the other family members goes and does the same thing? Why? It's nothing, I don't want to judge now the action, either that's right or wrong, but just connecting to that action, connecting to the grief of the family, because that grief had no solid container to be expressed in. So it went to hurt someone else. So within ourselves too, we can connect to this grief, and through this solid container of the righteous ruler, Lord Ram, Lord Ramachandra, just like he explained to his mother the righteous principles, and by example he chose righteousness. His mother experienced her emotions of separation in a healthy and constructive way, and chose to support her husband in the 14 years of exile. Although she knows Maharaj Dasarat, he's gonna die as soon as you're gone, Lord Ram. Why are you going? Why are you going? Why are you leaving to the forest? And Lord Ram answers, to create this container of righteousness, not just for this plot, but for years to come. And I see that so beautiful, and I see that as our duty as men. I think most of my viewers are men, studying the analytics. I think about 80% at least of you. So I really invite you to today, this day of appearance of Lord Ram, connect to this place in your heart, and let Lord Ram appear in your heart to help you choose righteousness in every given day, every given hour, every given moment. Not just for yourself to feel good about yourself, oh, I'm such a religious, pious man. No, but for your community, your family, your wife, your daughters, your sons, to allow them to take shelter of that righteousness so they can experience their emotions without judging themselves. Experience their emotions to ultimately liberate. And this is what liberates them, your ability to choose righteousness. So I'll read a little bit more, or maybe let's see if there are any questions. Yashvat loves the background music. Thank you. It was a last moment choice. It helps me to dive into this serenity of the moment. I think Vikram, he had a question. Hey, David James, Hare Krishna, nice to have you with us. Did you just join, or you were in a stream for a while? That was a question from Vikram that I think sounded interesting. Okay, I cannot find it right now, but Vikram, if you're here, you can repeat the question, and I'll answer that. So let's read a little bit more, and I invite you to find that place in your heart which is triggered by the plot, and see which emotions are one they want you to give them a voice. They want you to be acknowledged by you. And whatever happens, without any judgment, let it be. If you want to cry, you cry. If you want to get angry, you get angry. If you feel disturbed, be disturbed. This is what the Ramayan is there for us. I asked why people always behind fame. Why people are hiding behind fame. What comes to me is that they're afraid of seeing themselves. Anyone who is hiding behind something, can be our emotions. They're hiding ultimately behind themselves, because who creates these emotions? Our own self. We are, in a sense, seducing ourselves to run away from ourselves. So these beautiful narrations, like Ramayan, Valmiki's Ramayan, or the stories of Krishna, all these transcendental vibrations, they're there to give us an opportunity to stop running from ourselves, to stop this journey of thinking we're someone else, we're something else. Sit down for a second, hear these narrations, and take shelter of this container, of this solid container of Lord Ram's energy, to let everything that happens from our heart outside, and see what is the self, who I am, who do I really bring with myself to this incarnation, what is my gift to the world, to my community, to my family, to my spouse. And right now, Kaushalya, she is on the grip of sorrow, and I invite you to find this place in your heart, find this place where perhaps some grief or some sadness is not expressed, and let it be expressed. Let it be expressed, maybe quietly, maybe loudly, however it feels comfortable to. Still in the grip of sorrow, Kaushalya began to worship the gods in order to invoke divine blessings for her son. Her son is about to leave, to remind you. Praying to each of the principal deities and asking that they guard Ram from all dangers. She offered oblations of ghee into the sacred fire. As she finished her prayers, Ram bowed before her and held her feet for some time, while she wept softly. Embracing him tightly, Kaushalya said, "Please live in peace, my child, and accomplish your purpose. When at last I see you return, as one would see the full moon appearing above the horizon, all my sorrows will be gone. Only when I see you ascend your father's throne, wearing the crown and clad in royal robes, will my heart's desire be fulfilled. May all the gods protect you as you sojourn the dreadful forest. Depart now, O Raghava. I wish you well." So we can imagine how much pain his mother is going through. Ram took leave of the grieving Kaushalya, who followed after him with her eyes. He went out of her apartment feeling agony. Lakshman, who had resigned himself to accept Ram's determination to depart, followed close behind. So both his brother and Sita, soon Sita's gonna beg her husband to take her with him. All of them are experiencing these strong, deep emotions of sorrow, sadness, agony. And this is God. This is God. He's experiencing his human experience fully, without any how do you call it, a lift breakage, or I forgot the name, but a handbrake. Without any handbrake, he's giving himself fully to this process of the human experience. And this is the example why God appears, right? God appears to show us example, and this is the first example that God shows us. Be with your experience it fully, And don't run away from that. Just be with that. If you're experiencing grief, give yourself the time. Create a space for you. Or if you find it difficult to create a space for you, you ask someone, you ask a friend, you ask a mentor to create a space for you, to be with your emotions and really ultimately get to know yourself, get to know who you are. Vikram is writing, which is good solitude, living or living around people. Some rishis were in the forest with Vishwamitra, comes back to the city to bless and gone. Yeah, in one sense, I feel that unless we are connected to our human experience, to our emotions, unless we know what's happening deep in the core of our heart, we're gonna always feel alone. The source of loneliness, perhaps some of you who are, experiencing still this, lockdown and pandemic, quarantine area in our life. You felt lonely, you're feeling lonely right now, you're looking for a place you can belong and be with people, but even when we are with people, unless we are connected to the deep core root of ourself, of our purpose on earth, and our purpose in this human experience, we're always going to be alone. We're always going to feel alone. We're always going to think we are alone. Why? Because our heart is blocked and suppressed with everything that we don't want to hear from it. We don't want to hear from Him. And I feel that this is one of the purposes for me of reading Ramayan, reading other sacred texts of seemingly stories, seemingly something imaginary and futuristic. Why? To give our heart this funnel, this place where it can fully express itself and dive into what is happening to us. And thank you for being here with me today, and thank you for letting me share about my understanding of the Ramayan, and I hope you enjoyed it, and you let your heart to be expressed in this 30 minutes that we took, and we reached 108 likes. That's an auspicious time to resign. Yes, I remember, Vikram, you shared about that in one of the videos, that you lost your father. I feel for you. I feel your loss, your grief. You're probably going through so much grief and so much pain, and I hope you find a place today to be empowered by Lord Ram, to go to that place of grief and let your heart speak the sadness, either in tears or maybe in anger or whatever that is, and just radiate all these heavy, strong emotions from your body and liberate yourself and your father through that. I feel for you. Hare Krishna. Just wanted to shout out to everyone who joined Learning to Love, David, Sanatan, Krishna, Vikram, Sridhar, Dharma, Lakshmi, everyone who spared their time in the moment to join the reading and the exploration of our heart in Ramayan. If you're interested in consultations or coaching sessions, or just a place where your emotions can be heard and listened and attended to in a safe space, I'm offering coaching sessions, personal coaching sessions. You can message me at contact@RamaLunin.com. Let me know if I can serve you in any way. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Sitaram, Lakshman Hanuman.